Well, the Tesla is in for repairs today. Got a crack in the windshield. I gotta say, the first thing I did when we got the car was I added glass coverage to the account. A little extra per month, but with as much glass as the Tesla has, it's been well worth it so far. We've already replaced the top glass once, and this is the second time I'm getting the windshield done. The first time was just treating a crack that was in there, like a little ding that they just treated. Now they're replacing the whole thing, which normally a windshield replacement takes about an hour. I was told to slate out the whole day because they have to recalibrate the car, they have to replace the windshield. Man, it's a lot of sensors and cameras and stuff in that window, so a little bit of a task. So let's see how this experience goes. Well, there she is, good as new, although the car's not locked, which makes me a little concerned. No dings, no chips, back to like it was. I won't complain too much though, because this is the first time I've had a non-cracked, dinged, or nicked windshield since like the week I bought it, so right on. So I have to say, my overall experience with Safelite was actually a really good one. I didn't record as much as I wanted to there, because it was really early in the morning, and we got off to a rocky start. So when I first got there, I received a message that said, hey, you can drop your car off anytime between 7:30 and 8:30. Cool. My son has to be to school at 8 a.m. I have to be to work not very long after that, so I'm going to drop it off at 7:30. So I pull into the parking lot, walk into the door, and I see their hours on the door that say 8 to whatever. So 8 a.m. I'm like, oh, they say drop it off at 7:30. And then there's a rock in front of the door, which kind of looks intentionally placed, which most likely it is. That way someone doesn't open the door when they're not supposed to. Then a sign on the left side of the door, as you see here. And that sign says, use other door. So the door that has the rock in front of it is the one that the sign says to use, and the hours say 8 a.m. So I quickly called my wife, who's coming to pick me up, and said, hey, don't worry about me. Just take our son to school, and I'll figure out a ride. So as I'm waiting out there, like 5 minutes has passed, and it's cold. It's Arizona cold. And the lady opens the door that says, use the door, and goes, were you trying to come in? I said, yeah. She goes, yeah, the door's unlocked. I'm like, oh. Then I kind of pointed at the signs, like, okay, whatever, it's fine. I got in there, 2 seconds to drop it off. I was able to call my mom to take me to work. Good. That's what, moms are for. And then they tell me it's going to take all day, which I get. You have to recalibrate the camera, you got to recalibrate the sensors in there. It's a task. I know, understanding that changing the windows is a task with Teslas. I get to work. So I get to work about 10:30, and about 11:15, I get a message being like, your car is done. I was like, oh. I tell them, I'm on the phone with them. I was like, oh yeah, I was told it was gonna take all day. Oh yeah, we always say all day with Teslas because we never really knew how long it was gonna take, but now we have it down to like a science. Okay, so that kind of threw all my plans off because I was gonna leave a little bit later to go get it, which I still did. But on the bright side, I gotta look at it from the positive side, which is great customer service. They got it done a lot quicker. They under-promised and over-delivered, which I'll take. And truth be told, it's the first time I've ever had any nicks in my window since I bought it, because the week that we bought the car, we were getting on the freeway by our house, and a truck kicked up a rock, and bang, right in front of the driver's window, there's a little nick that I had to get. And it's something you stare at while you drive all the time. So overall, it was a great experience with Safelite. I have the glass coverage of my insurance, so it covered it completely. But if you had to pay for it out of pocket, this is what I wanted to talk about. It was over $740 if I had to replace the window out of pocket. So I actually cut the video right there because I realized I gave you guys the wrong pricing. I don't know what I was thinking because I looked at the receipt again. That $750 was for the labor. It would actually have been over $1,200 to replace my windshield without any kind of insurance. So I'm glad I got that glass coverage, because $1,200, it's a lot of scratch. It's nothing to sneeze at. It's a lot of glass. It's solar repellent. So, I mean, it helps keep your car cooler inside, especially in Arizona. That's a big deal to me. But $1,200. Yeah, that's, woo. For a broken windshield, that wasn't my fault. But I'm good. I'm glad that it's 100% covered by our insurance. Having the glass coverage is 100% worth it, especially if you own a Tesla or any of the EVs or any car that has glass roof and everything else. The one thing it doesn't cover, if it's a sunroof, it does not cover that glass. Which the first time I had my glass replaced was the actual top portion right above the head. And I got split on our way to through New Orleans, if I remember correctly. That one, they tried to fight me on at first, saying, oh, it's considered a sunroof, so it's not covered. I was like, that's not what I was told by the 2 agents I spoke to. After some back and forth, they finally said, okay, yeah, it is considered part of the car. It's not a sunroof. Ooh, so it's been worth it so far. So if you haven't done it, make sure you get glass coverage for your Tesla if you have one, or any EV that has the glass up top. But make sure you check with your insurance provider first to make sure that it does qualify for that coverage, and make sure you get in there as soon as you can. We've used it at least 3 times that I'm aware of so far. So that's been well worth it in the long run. Other than that, I can't say enough about my experience with SafeLight. I was a great customer service. I don't know if you saw my last video where we actually went to the new Tesla service center here in Tucson. The customer service part wasn't the best in my opinion. They're newer. I don't know if it's just like growing pains or what, but wasn't a huge fan. But I wanted to cut here to show you the actual pricing. I can't believe I misread it. And I still thought $750 was high, but yeah, it's better than, $1,200 for a windshield. Man. All right, but I chose life. I can't complain, right? Thanks for tuning in with us. Hope we'll take another ride again soon. If you haven't done so, please like and subscribe down low. Sharing is caring. And, I don't know, comment below. Tell me if you think $1,200 is a lot for a windshield. Unless it's a Boeing 747, I think that's way too much for a windshield. But that's just my opinion. All right, bye-bye, everybody.